This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
There are certain signs we see better as drivers. There are certain signs we see better as pedestrians. Monuments can be seen by pedestrians, but we also don't want people walking into them.
But what about when that sign isn't even on the sidewalk? The Sarasota Salon is being forced to move its marker behind closed doors because of city code. Our viewers are speaking out against the decision, and they're not alone. The city's urban design studio says it might be time for an update in the code. Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohen, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on Sarasota's sign issue coming up. But first, our top 7 stories at 7. And we begin with new developments in the battle between Lido Key and Siesta Key over plans to dredge Big Pass. Florida's Department of Environmental Protection is posting a notice of intent to issue a permit for dredging. The permit would allow the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers and the city of Sarasota to dredge nearly 1.2 million cubic yards of sand to re-nourish a 1.5 mile stretch of Lido Key Beach. Sarasota city manager says this move is needed to protect the key.
This key is very vulnerable. It's in a precarious situation. We're one tropical storm away from having serious property damage and infrastructure damage.
Opponents of the plan fear it could cause erosion on Siesta Key's beaches. The clock is now ticking on a 14-day period for appeals. We'll have details on the story coming up tonight at 11. Suncoast beaches took a beating from Hurricane Hermine earlier this year. Now the Department of Housing and Urban Development is providing $1.8 billion in relief. 6 states will receive funds for damage from the Hurricane Hermine and Matthew, including Florida, which will get $58 million. The grants announced today are in addition to the $500 million HUD allocated in October. He hasn't been able to win a seat on the county commission when he has tried, but former Sarasota Mayor and City Commissioner Fred Atkins has run and won repeatedly citywide, and he is announcing plans to do so again. Atkins plans to run for one of 2 at-large commission seats currently held by the outgoing Suzanne Outwell and incumbent Susan Chapman. Both seats are up for grabs in May. Atkins is campaigning on a promise to bridge the gap between the city and county commissioners on issues like homelessness and affordable housing.
The commission have decided that they need change. There's one that's leaving, and so that's always important. There's an open seat, so there will be change. I think I am the change agent that will be the most positive person to make things happen for the future.
Atkins has already pre-qualified to run. He is not alone. Commissioner Susan Chapman, Hagan Brody, Martin Hyde, and Jennifer Ahern Koch will have also filed. A substitute teacher in Manatee County is facing new charges in addition to allegedly molesting 3 girls. 30-year-old Brad Bellinger is now charged with lewd and lascivious molestation of a child between 12 and 16. That comes on top of 3 molestation charges of a child under age 12. In all the cases, Bellinger knew the victims from outside the school. He has been held at the Manatee County Jail since his arrest on November 30th. The school district has not said what school Bellinger worked in. AAA is predicting record traffic nationwide this holiday, including here on the Suncoast. The traffic on I-75 from Manatee Avenue to Fruitville Road were consistently around 130,000 cars today, many converging at the shops at University Town Center, where diverging diamond construction project made for some close calls. Florida's Highway Patrol expects numbers to stay high throughout the weekend.
With a lot of traffic, unfortunately does historically seem to be an uptick in crashes. With that, we just hope people make good choices and arrive alive at their destinations.
According to FHP, there are more car accidents during December than any other month. You might be able to get around, but it could soon be easier to park in downtown Palmetto. The city is considering an ordinance allowing businesses to essentially purchase city-owned properties. There would be no limit on how many parking spaces a business could reserve. The money would be held in a trust fund to be used for creation of new parking spaces near businesses within 10 years. After years of effort, Venice is now the new owner of a train used by the Ringling Brothers Circus. The Venice Area Historical Society bought it from the Florida Railroad Museum in Parrish after negotiations on funding and restorations. This isn't the first time the train car has been to Venice. It used to transport circus performers to their winter homes on the island. And Bob, that's an interesting story. How's the weekend forecast shaping up?
Well, it's interesting in the fact that we're going to see temperatures not winter-like at all. And we're talking record-breaking highs, possibly mid-80s inland areas and low 80s right near the beaches. Yes, it is going to be a warm one. And right now outside our studios, it's nice out there. We have a few clouds that kind of rolled in. 76 degrees after today's high was into the low 80s. Dew point at 61 and winds out of the east-northeast at 8. And the high-pressure system that's been dominating our weather over the past couple of days is going to really stay strong. It's there right now, 30-23. That's way up there, and that continues to rise. The high-pressure ridge will keep that frontal system over Texas well away from us over the upcoming days. You'll notice some clouds kind of rolling in from the southeast. See that rolling up from Fort Myers. There's a chance even for a few showers over the weekend as a result of the daytime heating, which will get up into the mid to upper 80s inland areas. 70 in Orlando right now. It's 77 in Miami, 76 in Key West, and temperatures into the upper 60s to low 70s in places like Sebring and Lake Placid and Arcadia. A little bit warmer near the coast, 77 in Inglewood, and the same in Venice. Bradenton at 75, 75 in Cortez and Northport at 75 degrees. Your evening planner looks good. We'll see temperatures upper 60s by 11 o'clock and no threat of any significant fog. And there could be some patchy fog tomorrow morning, but it's not going to be a big issue. It'll burn off pretty quickly, and we'll continue to see some pretty warm temperatures, too. We'll take a look at that. Get a look at this, Alan. On this date, back in 1989, it was snowing here in Sarasota. That's hard to believe, but it was.
What a difference a couple of years makes.
Yeah, right.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, what makes a monument? You see these signs all over downtown, yet Sarasota's zoning board draws a fine line between art and advertisement. We'll show you how it's creating blowback for a local salon when we return.
The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC7. We're here for you.
Flooring Depot has been serving Sarasota and Manatee counties for over 20 years with the best products and installation. Flooring Depot offers carpet, tile, hardwood, and more. Before you buy, give us a try. Stop by our showroom or visit us on the web at bestvaluecarpet.com.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
Call right now to get your free Senior Care Compass ebook. Find out about the 5 best-kept secrets on financing senior care and assisted living.
Call now, 800-290-0352. 800-290-0352.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, A-N-D, services.com.
Sarasota, we're uncorking something special at Michael's Wine Cellar and Tasting Room. Shop in a relaxed atmosphere with our wine specialists. You'll find 1,000 international wines, 200 under $20. National brand and boutique liquors at competitive pricing. Handcrafted beers. Stop by Michael's Wine Cellar and Tasting Room today and let us show you something exceptional.
A poodle butter dish. I'll use this. A chicken purse. It's so artsy. You're really good at giving gifts.
This holiday, give the perfect gift.
Perfect.
Flowers, always the perfect gift. Beneva Flowers and Gifts, exceeding your expectations.
It's big and bold, it's black and white, and it violates city code. We recently brought you a story about a local salon owner who was forced by the city of Sarasota to remove what's called a monument sign in front of his new business. Many of us told you that on Facebook that you did not like that. Tonight, Ray Collins has more on what's causing the uproar.
And then drop your chin. Derek Donovan's lifelong dream was to open his own hair salon, and last July he achieved that goal.
Yeah, I'd say so.
He opened his salon in the trendy Burns Court district and put a sign out front that he thought matched the tone of his place. But the city of Sarasota disagreed. The city said Derek broke the code ordinance with this monument sign on a primary street, which is against the law. He has since taken down the sign, and since we did our story earlier this month, viewers have rallied to Derek's side.
Hundreds of social media posts.
What are people generally saying to you?
The law should be more individualized. Because we did a lot of research with the sign, and we kind of knew what we wanted for the neighborhood.
Even the client in Derek's chair has an opinion.
I think that sign that he had added value to the neighborhood and wasn't a distraction. So I think it was a great sign, and they should have allowed it.
So what happened? General Manager of Planning and Development Gretchen Schneider sent us a statement saying that monument signs aren't allowed on primary streets and that Derek could have applied to the planning board for a hearing, but he chose not to do so. Derek admits he didn't want to spend the money to appeal the city's own rules.
It would have been thousands of dollars for me to try to get this done. I'm not in that position right now.
But now, back up. What is wrong with a so-called monument sign on a primary road? After all, the PNC Bank has a monument sign just down the street. We were told that was approved before the new rules went into effect. And as for all the tube dude signs on busy roads, well, that might be considered works of art. We took our questions to the city's urban design studio in the Federal Building. Director Karen Murphy doesn't speak for the city, but she agreed to try to interpret the current code.
Why would that be objectionable? It's not in anybody's way.
I can't say that it's necessarily objectionable to, to staff, but they have to apply their rules that are there in their code now.
Why do you think the city would have found a sign in landscaping, not on the sidewalk, not near the road, in the landscaping? Why would that be a bad thing?
I think when the original language was adopted, it wasn't taking into consideration all of the nuances of the right-of-way. Monuments can be seen by pedestrians, but we also don't want people walking into them.
It's in the garden, though. It's not on the sidewalk.
Correct. That's where we are talking about that rule being a little too coarse-grained. The current code by right doesn't allow that.
Murphy has been taking aim at that current code for years now. She held a public input workshop last year at Selby Library. She even used a sign consultant who concluded Sarasota needs better signs.
Our goal is to redo the citywide zoning code so that we can make sure that the processes are a little bit easier to follow and to adhere to, while at the same time allowing the creativity and the eclecticness that make us Sarasota.
And as for Derek's sign?
This kind of got caught in the seam, didn't it?
It did.
It shouldn't be illegal, but it is.
Correct. And it's, not necessarily that it's illegal, it just requires a more expensive and time-consuming review at this point.
So for now, Derek's outlaw sign remains upstairs in his salon gathering dust. Workers are installing window and door stickers, something he might have done anyway. He put this plastic sign up for a while, but felt that didn't match the vibe inside the salon. So for now, there is no freestanding sign outside, and he's reluctant to use one of those A-frame signs that he says the city encourages.
If you look down the street, there's just dozens of them on the sidewalk. I don't think this is the neighborhood for that, or the city for that, actually.
In Sarasota, Ray Collins, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
The city was also fining Derek $50 a day for his sign, but after our story aired, they waived that fee. We'll hear from a city official on the matter in just a moment. Plus, we'll have the owner of Derek's salon standing by. When we return, we take it to the trapezoid.
Don't miss the 19th annual Thunder by the Bay Motorcycle Festival, January 5th through the 8th, to benefit Suncoast Charities for Children. This year's festival welcomes special guest Blue Oyster Cult to the premier sports campus at Lakewood Ranch on January 8th at 4 p.m. Admission is free. Festival events include a sporting clay tournament, kickoff party, welcome Thunder event, Cruise for Cash charity motorcycle ride, and a 2-day Rockin' and Ridin' at the Ranch festival featuring vendors, live music, a Taste of Thunder area, and more. VIP tickets are available. For tickets and info, visit thunderbybthebay.org.
An important message for Americans eligible for Medicare. Are you receiving all the benefits available to you? Do you know there is money available to lower your Medicare prescription costs? Now's the time to find the coverage that's right for you at the right price. The way to do that is to explore your options. You can spend hours doing that yourself, or you can call Health Markets and let us do the legwork for you with no cost or obligation. We'll search a variety of plans from nationally recognized companies to find the coverage that's the best fit for you at a price that fits your budget, and we'll do it at no charge to you. Plus, you may be able to save money on prescriptions. We'll tell you if you qualify. Why pay a penny more than you have to for an insurance policy? Let us find you the right plan at the right price and see if you qualify to lower your prescription costs. Put our free service to work for you at no charge.
Call the number on the screen now to make sure you're getting all the benefits you deserve. Don't wait. Call now.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Florida Studio Theater presents Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves, celebrating fierce women with fierce vocals from the 70s through today. Featuring songs by performers such as Cher, Tina Turner, and Reba McEntire. Don't miss what critics are saying is a lively, high-energy driving review with powerhouse singers. Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves is now playing. Tickets can be purchased by calling 941-366-9000 or by visiting floridastudiotheater.org.
Welcome back. How long have business signs been an issue in the city of Sarasota? The zoning code that is blocking Donovan, the salon, from hanging its sign has been around since 2002. While it does prohibit the structure, there is an appeals process available. Exceptions can be made, but it requires going before the planning board, and it can cost thousands of dollars, which we would be better off just changing the code. And joining us for more on this sign situation is Derek Donovan, the owner of Derek the Salon in downtown Sarasota, and Norm Schimmel, who serves on Sarasota's Public Arts Committee and Tourism Development Council. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Pleasure.
Let me begin by asking you, saw what the Urban and Design Studio says there. They have been trying to change the code for a couple of years. Rome was not built in a day. There is a process you could have gone through. It would have cost money, but in the long run, do you think you would have been better off if you tried to work the system?
I don't believe so. I don't think the odds were in my favor, and I just wasn't in the financial position to go that route.
Why do you think that having a sign like that is important for you to be able to establish and grow your business?
There's two reasons. The sign really set up what my salon looked like on the inside. That's why I was kind of opposed to the sandwich-style signs being in front. And just that's a very fast street, believe it or not, and that gave me unbelievable advertisement.
Norm, you deal with artwork around the city. You see that there are those pipe sculptures, you have art in the roundabouts. There is an effort in Sarasota to make it a visually and artistically pleasing place. So if a sign like Derek's is creative and bold, why is that any different than the pipe sculptures or the roundabout sculptures?
I won't talk about the pipe sculptures because I don't have any background to do that. They have ordinances, the city has had ordinances about, if you want to call them monumental signs. When we look at let me go back to one thing. In years ago, before we were very sophisticated, the Superman 3D logo was considered a piece of art. This is way before electronics or anything like that. So there's an argument for Derek immediately on that. But as far as the Public Art Committee, we're not the ones that enforce the ordinances, nor are we involved in the ordinances. As chair now, my concern is not only the artwork, for instance, that we'll put on roundabouts, but the safety of the artwork on roundabouts too, for our drivers too.
Right, and that's a key issue because the criticism of the artwork is about whether it could be too distracting. A large monument sign in front of a business may or may not be just as distracting.
Right, and that's at the criteria of the people who make the ordinance. I would have liked to have seen Derek go before them and talk before them. I can't believe. One of the things that the Public Art Committee does, in addition to beautify the city, is we're involved with tourism and building our small businesses. And I can't believe that anybody in a city would not want to build a small business and talk about it.
All right, we are just getting started. Our discussion is going to continue in a moment, but right now we are going to have a check on our weather forecast when we return.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on the pedal. You get a clean mop pad that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 pick it up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names. They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
Call right now to get your free Senior Care Compass ebook. Find out about the 5 best-kept secrets on financing senior care and assisted living.
Call now, 800-290-0352. 800-290-0352.
Our discussion continues in a moment, but right now let's get a check on our weather from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. Right now, get a look at this shot that's sent in from Fred Seeger as the sun was setting tonight out on the north end of Siesta Key. And you can see a sailboat off in the background there. Some clouds moved in, actually kind of limited our vision of the International Space Station, which went on by at around 6:09 this evening. Casey Key webcam showing a beautiful day out in the water today. And then the clouds came in just after 4 or 5 o'clock and made for a nice sunset, though. And we'll look to see a little bit of cloudiness around, maybe a little bit of patchy fog. But right now, what's happening is a large area of high pressure continues to dominate much of the weather over all the southeast. And you can see this area of cloudiness here. That's a little bit of a storm system right now. But with this high pressure in place and fully anchored, we're not going to see this move on in anytime soon, because around that area of high pressure, we have the winds rotating around in a clockwise fashion. It's just going to force us off, and it kind of rides the ridge up toward Ohio as well as Pennsylvania and New York in time. Currently, we have a few clouds around 76 degrees. Dew point is 61, so that's rising a little bit. Our lows tonight will be in the low to mid-60s. Our normal low for this time of year, right around 52 degrees. East and northeast winds at 8. The pressure way up there, 30, 23, and that continues to rise at this hour. The high today was just a few degrees shy of the record, 83 degrees. Our normal high at 72, so well above that, and 58 was the morning low. Temperatures currently at 60 in Jacksonville, 10 degrees warmer now in Orlando, 77 in Miami, and right here, it's pretty mild. The temperature is expected to stay into the low 70s all the way up to around 11 o'clock. 76 in Sarasota, 75 Mayaca City, Northport at 76, and Bradenton, you're at 77 degrees. Lakewood Ranch at 75. Our forecast for tomorrow looks good. Lots of sunshine. We'll have a little bit of patchy fog to start the day off, but temperatures will warm pretty quickly. We'll be at to 78 by 11 o'clock. Low 80s all the way through 4 p.m. And some areas east of I-75 will warm up to around 85 degrees tomorrow. And we could see some record highs, especially on Sunday. Well, here's the wind and fog forecast. Out of the east-northeast, our wind flow anywhere from 5 to 10 miles an hour. This particular forecast model depicting a little bit more widespread fog. I don't think it'll be this widespread, but it will be around, but it'll burn off pretty quickly. By 8 o'clock, it should be, for the most part, out of here. We'll look for partly cloudy conditions for the rest of the morning, and then lots of sunshine throughout the afternoon. Well, there's that little kicker system moving through now parts of Wisconsin, Michigan, stretching down to northern Illinois tonight. Some snow showers and flurries nearby Chicago. And then back to the west is where the storm track has really shifted right now. And that's where all the nasty weather is going to be, I think, over the holiday weekend. You can see that this is the snowfall forecast through Sunday. Just a little bit of snow over the northeast. So travel weather not too bad over the eastern two-thirds of the nation, but up to a foot of snow in some of the mountains there into Utah as well as into Colorado up into the northern plain states. Good news for skiers, and as far as the snow on the ground goes, there's quite a bit of it covering most of the northern plain states through the Midwest and the Northeast, and in the ski resorts, a lot of snow on the ground still there. Temperatures, extreme cold in North Dakota, but elsewhere temperatures are fairly moderate, to say the least, compared to what they had earlier this week. For boaters, winds will be rather light out of the northeast, anywhere from 10 knots to 5 knots in the afternoon. Seas running less than 2 feet with a light chop on the bays and inland waters. The water temperature now at 70, and we're expecting beaches to see a high right around 78 degrees. Tides upcoming. The next high tide will be at 8:17, another one at 10:32, sunrise at 7:18. Tonight, patchy fog, otherwise mostly fair, 62 for a low. And then the extended forecast shapes up to be pretty warm running in through the next 6 days. It cools down to average, looks like, by Friday of next week. Alan will be right back after this.
On horrendously cold nights, on days when the rain has been relentless, or when the sun is beating down, there is an animal trapped with no protection, fighting to stay alive. Time is running out for them, but you can help save them by joining the ASPCA today. With your donation of just $18 a month, you'll help rescue abused and neglected animals, provide them with food, shelter, and medical care. When you go online or call in the next 10 minutes, we'll send you this free membership kit and our limited edition 150th anniversary t-shirt. It's just 60 cents a day to pull animals out of a terrible life. Don't let them suffer another day. Please help now.
A poodle butter dish. I'll use this. A chicken purse. It's so artsy. You're really good at giving gifts.
This holiday, give the perfect gift.
Perfect.
Flowers, always the perfect gift. Beneva Flowers and Gifts, exceeding your expectations.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction Hope and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're discussing a clash between a downtown salon and the city of Sarasota over a sign outside the business. It speaks to a bigger issue with zoning in the city. Our guests tonight are Derek Donovan, owner of Derek the Salon, and Norm Schimmel of Sarasota's Public Arts Committee. But before we get started again, I had a chance to speak with the Director of Neighborhoods and Developments, not only about Derek's case, but also the broader issue. And we started off by asking why the city is opposed to the sign.
I don't believe it's that the city opposed the sign. I wouldn't use that term. I would just say that the sign that was erected without permit. It's a sign that didn't meet the specific requirements of the zone it's in. I think the intent of sign regulations are so that there are standardized signage and the same rules applying to all businesses. In this particular case, this business is in one of our downtown locations, and it's on what's called a primary street. So these are regulations that have been in place since about 2002 with our downtown code when it went in. And the intent of when I say a primary street, it's a street that speaks to the pedestrian. We want pedestrians to feel comfortable on the streets and have pedestrian-oriented signage, and that's how the sign regulations work on those districts.
Derek would say, and maybe people watching this would say, that just a short distance away from his shop are banks with monument signs right out in front, and people may not be able to draw the distinction between where his business is and a bank just a few feet away, that different rules may apply.
Well, my answer to that again is the banks I believe you're talking about, for example, down on Ringling and so forth, again, is a much more vehicular-oriented street. And again, if you take a Pineapple or the Palm Avenues and so forth, those are really set up for the pedestrian to walk. If you look at the sign, and it's not a small sign, it's a, again, beautiful sign, but very large sign that's stuck up against the building there. Again, I think the city's point and the point of the regulations would be that if all of the tenants inside of a building like this could put up their own individual giant sign like that, it wouldn't really be, it would look like a sign clutter, I think is the term I'd use. I'd say there'd be a lot of clutter. And again, to me, it comes down to all the businesses and tenants in that building kind of playing by the same rule.
Even if he did appeal to the city and go through the expense of doing so, would it, in the end, made any difference?
Well, I can't speak for the boards because that determination, when it goes forward, it's called an adjustment. People are allowed to ask for changes or exceptions to the sign regulations. I think it would be a difficult argument to make, and I think that's, I think staff did advise Derek of that he could certainly do that, but with the expense and public hearings involved, again, in a case like that, everybody gets noticed within 500 feet. I would think other businesses might come out and comment, and again, if he can do it, then shouldn't everybody be able to do it?
Okay, Derek, Mr. Litchett raises a couple of good points. Did you, before you opened the business and put the sign out there, check to see whether or not it violated city code?
I did not.
In retrospect, was that an error?
Absolutely. There was an existing sign there. It was a temporary sign for the realtor, but it was up for a few years. That building stayed vacant for a few years. So actually my father and myself just removed the almost same exact sign, size-wise, and just put ours in, not knowing. And then the city came down and asked me, if I had the permit. I said no. They said apply for one. We applied, and then we were rejected. But the city, I'd have to say the city, they did everything they could. I met with them 4 different occasions. They kept asking me to try another avenue, they wanted to keep the sign, I feel, but just with the old laws in place.
And the expense it would cause to appeal it,
correct,
so to speak. The other issue that Mr. Litchett made was if you had your sign there and the other businesses in the building also wanted similar signs, you could see it would cause kind of a chaotic situation that you don't want on those streets.
I agree, because it's happening now with the sandwich signs. If you look up and down the sidewalks, it's kind of chaotic looking. So I was thinking like a case by case. You know, you bring them your drawings of a sign, they see if it fits the neighborhood, fits the building, instead of just a blanketed law. Because my sign it's beautiful on that building. There's no question about it. It's probably the nicest sign in this town.
Norm, that is a challenge for any city or municipality, is the aesthetic nature of its streets and what businesses do to promote their business, and even what committees like the Art Committee Commission puts out there in terms of whether it fits into the nature of the community.
Well, one thing you should understand, we're under restrictions too, and I'll come to that in a second, but the Public Art Committee is here not only to approve of the art that we put on the streets, but we are looking for economics downtown. We are looking for our small businesses to profit, and everything that we do is for tourism and more revenue coming into the city, even from an art sense. But we're also under restrictions, and if we take, for instance, a roundabout, there's a new roundabout that's being built on a hill, which will have restrictions on how high we make it. My concern now as the chair are the drivers and how much visibility we give them, so that will pose even more restrictions on the type of sculptures that we put in.
And of course, you could look at this in terms of other things, even billboard signs on roadways. The question always becomes whether it's billboards or signage or art. At what point do they become a distraction to drivers and pedestrians?
I agree, but basically on the highway you have something that's 90 feet long, 30 feet high, a billboard. So if we're going to go with distractions, that would be a major distraction in my eyes.
Right. So after we initially aired this story, we had quite the reaction on our Facebook page and our web page, and I'm sure that you got a lot of calls at your business in support, or were some people calling and saying, hey, listen, you got to play by the same rules the rest of us play by?
I would say out of maybe 400 posts, there was one that said laws are laws, and I do agree with that. I just feel like the laws are very out of date. It's for a city that maybe was 30 years ago, and we should be looking at a city 30 years from now.
And Norma, I think you wanted to say something.
Yeah, the problem today is liability, and someone can claim that they're distracted and sue a city over an accident. Liability is everything that takes place today. We're aware of it, especially when we do our new artwork within the city itself too. So that comes into play also.
But it's something that, and we're running out of time here, but I'm thinking about the sculpture right in downtown, one of the most famous in the world, of the sailor kissing the girl, and you can make the argument that that's going to make drivers drive off the road if they've never seen that before.
Well, unconditional surrender, and there's a whole long story, I helped save it. But unconditional surrender could be argued. You're correct on that, but yet it is not directly on the roadway, and it is a certain amount of feet away from the roadway itself, which may be the problem here. I don't know. That's All
right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll have final thoughts from our guests and plus what some of you are saying about a call to reform Sarasota city government. Stay with us.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to save a life? Find out by donating platelets at Suncoast Blood Bank.
I'm Haley Wilgus, ABC7. Platelets aid in the clotting process and are vital in the treatment of cancer and surgical patients, trauma victims, and critically ill newborns. It's tough to keep enough on the shelves because they only last 5 days. To donate, call this number or visit scbb.org and you can help save a life.
ABC7 congratulates Suncoast Blood Bank on 65 years of serving our community. ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you, weeknights at 5.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
on horrendously cold nights, on days when the rain has been relentless, or when the sun is beating down, there is an animal trapped with no protection, fighting to stay alive. Time is running out for them, but you can help save them by joining the ASPCA today. With your donation of just $18 a month, you'll help rescue abused and neglected animals, provide them with food, shelter, and medical care. When you go online or call in the next 10 minutes, we'll send you this free membership kit and our limited edition 150th anniversary t-shirt. It's just 60 cents a day to pull animals out of a terrible life. Don't let them suffer another day. Please help now.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, ANDservices.com.
Welcome back. Advertising a business is critical to its survival. Are the zoning codes in the city of Sarasota too restrictive when it comes to signs? Our guests join us now for final thoughts. And Norm, we'll start with you because you deal with art around the city and how it's presented on our public streets. What's your takeaway from this story?
Well, firstly, as a member of the Tourist Development Council of the county, I want nothing but success for Derek. I want small businesses to thrive, and also as part of the city in art, we want downtown and our individual small business owners to thrive also. That's my take on this.
Derek, what's your takeaway? I mean, obviously there must be some lessons learned.
Absolutely. Again, I just want to say the city, they really tried. It wasn't a fight. It was, I put the sign in without permit. They directed me how to go about it, but just with the old laws on the book, there was just no way that I could keep that sign.
Are you thinking that maybe, you know, it would behoove you to stay involved with not only this issue, but what goes on in the city? Because change only takes place when people step up and push for it.
Definitely. In the neighborhood that I'm in, it's an amazing neighborhood. The shop owners it's just an outstanding neighborhood. I'm going to keep vocal in that neighborhood. I would like the laws to be changed in the future for many things, actually.
Okay. Why don't we leave it there? But before we go, we want to share with you what some of our viewers are saying about last night's topic. Sarasota City Commissioner Suzanne Atwell will not seek a third term. Her decision comes in part because of the rancor and division she has seen during her time at City Hall, and she is not alone in her dissatisfaction. Many think it is time for an elected mayor and time to move elections from the spring to the fall. We asked you what you thought about Sarasota's turn, and Tony Thomas writes, our city has turned into a nightmare. I'm all for progress, but the developers seem to have the edge no matter the public outcry. Why is that? Bob Bellemare writes, an elected mayor would be more responsive to the needs of the community and its people than a commission-style government. And Bob Garvin writes, it is not the form of government, it's the leaders we vote in to run it. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation about tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/news@7. And FYI, want to watch past roundtable discussions? They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. Thanks to our guests for being here tonight. Derek Donovan is the owner of Derek the Salon in downtown Sarasota. Norm Schimmel is on Sarasota's Public Arts Committee and Tourism Development Council. When we return, we'll have a final look at your weather. Plus, texting while driving can be deadly. Now, Florida lawmakers are trying to crack down on crime. The details are coming up in our primetime headlines.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 1-800-565-7740. That's 1-800-565-7740.
Alex Karras Lincoln's holiday sales event is here. Drive a brand new 2017 Lincoln MKC Sports Utility for $269 per month or a 2017 MKZ for $299 per month. We are proud to introduce the newest addition to the Lincoln lineup, the all-new 2017 Lincoln Continental. We have a great selection and ready for immediate delivery. Alex Karras Lincoln, affordable luxury. Winner of the prestigious 2015 President's Award, serving Florida's Sun Coast since 1978. We're located 2 miles north of the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport on US 41.
They care. They take the time to understand you, take the time to understand your case.
There's no better satisfaction to me than to see a client who is happy because of the job we've done for them.
It's really actually very comforting to know that there's someone that you've heard of and you're getting recommendations about that you can turn to when you have a problem.
I felt like I had a partner in this, and he was going to be by my side.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in just a moment, but right now let's get a final check on our weather from Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Thanks, Alan. I'll tell you, it's been a beautiful day today, and we saw just a little bit of cloudiness move in late this evening. We still have one downside, I guess. It's somewhat weather-related. We have red tide still being felt across parts of the Suncoast. The latest from the FWC has just come out with where the red tide is the highest right now. It's near New Pass, near Big Pass, near Longboat Pass, and also the north end of Longboat, or I should say the north end of Anna Maria. The story is, though, that the red tide is spotty. On top of that, it's weakening somewhat, so we're not getting as many reports, especially south of Siesta. The North Siesta area, some red tide reports there. Obviously, Siesta Key Beach, no problems. But south there into Charlotte Harbor, it had been high last week, and now it is not present there in most places. So good news is that it's weakening. Bad news is it's still out there in some places, especially the high category near New Pass as well as Longboat Pass and on the east side of Anna Maria Island. As far as the satellite and radar imagery goes, well, that big area of high pressure I told you about continues to dominate much of the southeastern states as this area of moisture kind of rides the ridge over the top of it, and it continues to stay away from Florida. We are not going to see this move in anytime soon. With the winds kind of moving in an east to basically southeasterly direction, we're going to get warm here. Again, highs today were 83 degrees at the Sarasota-Bradenton Airport, and we expect highs tomorrow similar, if not higher, getting close to the record high, 85 degrees set back in 2015. That's where we'll be approaching tomorrow afternoon. It's 76 right now, the dew point 61, and winds are out of the east-northeast at 8. The pressure 30-23. That's way up there, and that continues to rise at this time. And as the hourly forecast goes tonight, maybe a little bit of fog forming after midnight. Not a lot. It shouldn't be all that widespread. It should burn off rather quickly, too, but temperatures staying pretty warm into the mid-60s by sunrise. Here's a look now at temperatures across the state at this hour. 65 in Pensacola, 76 in Sarasota, the same in Key West, 77 now in Miami. And temperatures already down in the upper 60s to mid-60s in Lake Placid, Sebring, Avon Park at 70 degrees. And temperatures, the Gulf of Mexico water temperature now at 70, taken at the end of the Venice Pier there. And Punta Gorda now at 75, Mayaca City the same. Well, the hourly forecast continuing throughout the day tomorrow will warm in the low 80s by the noon hour, really. And it'll stay pretty warm right through the next 6 days. We're expecting and anticipating high temperatures to stay well above seasonal averages all the way through Thursday of next week. The winds will be out of the east to southeast throughout the day on Saturday and Sunday. For boaters tomorrow, not much wind out there, so good news for boating. Winds will be out of the northeast, starting off at 10 knots, subsiding to 5 knots, and seas running 1 to 2 feet. The water temperature, there it is at 70. The UV index will be high at a 9. The extended forecast shapes up to be pretty warm right through Thursday, back to average by Friday of next week. Alan will be right back with Prime Time headlines. Stick around.
I'm calling in regards about my mother, and I'm here, and I just want to thank you because it saved my mother's life yesterday. And I'd like to know the names of the people that came in and saved her so I could call and thank them. And she's doing fine. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you.
When you fall and cannot get up, an accident can turn into a tragedy. But with Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast. Life Alert saves a person from a catastrophe every 10 minutes.
Life Alert is a lifesaver. If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-652-3012. That's 1-800-652-3012. Call now, 1-800-652-3012. For a free brochure, call 1-800-652-3012.
Selling your home? Insist on a 3D showcase tour from Gulf Shores Realty. Virtual tours are flat and boring and look more like a slideshow than a tour. A 3D tour from Gulf Shores Realty is like actually walking through the home without the drive. Get instant access to your next home from any device. Multiple views give homebuyers a perspective like no other. For a limited time, mention ABC7 and Gulf Shores Realty will provide a complimentary 3D tour with your new listing.
This is a special health alert for seniors suffering with joint pain. If you have Medicare insurance, you may qualify for high-quality support braces at little or no cost.
I'm thrilled with my knee braces.
Now, there is a simple and proven solution for seniors to get out of pain with state-of-the-art support braces.
I barely feel any pain at all.
Braces for your knees and back, as well as your shoulders and ankles, too.
I'm so happy with the quality of these braces.
Call now, and you could qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost.
I can play ball again, and it doesn't hurt.
And because of my Medicare coverage, it costs me next to nothing.
So call now.
And because I have this red, white, and blue Medicare card, my braces have cost me just about nothing.
It's true. You may get a knee, back, shoulder, and ankle brace at little or no cost.
They qualified me for 2 knee braces and a back brace.
If you have knee or back pain, give them a call. They can help.
1-800-476-8967. 1-800-476-8967.
Now for a look at your primetime headlines. For the first time, the United Nations Security Council has passed a resolution demanding Israel stop building settlements in the occupied West Bank. The resolution calls Israel's settlement policy a flagrant violation of international law, breaking from the tradition the United States did not block the vote with its veto power. Instead, it abstained for the vote. The decision comes after heavy lobbying from both Israel and President-elect Donald Trump.
Today, the Security Council reaffirmed its established consensus that settlements have no legal validity. The United States has been sending the message that the settlements must stop privately and publicly for nearly 5 decades.
By continuing to provide excuses for the Palestinians to avoid recognizing our right to exist, you are only maintaining the status quo.
Israel has faced more UN resolutions from the United Nations this year than any other nation, including Iran, Russia, Syria, and North Korea. The search for the suspect in the holiday market attack in Berlin is over. Anis Amri was killed in a gun battle with police early this morning in Italy. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez is in New York with how he was found and his final video message.
The manhunt ended overnight in a dramatic shootout outside of this train station in a suburb of Milan. Anis Amri, the suspect police say killed 12 people Monday, barreling this truck into a Berlin Christmas market, was shot to death by police. The officers initially approached Amri during a routine patrol, asking him for his ID. But instead, officials explain Amri pulled out a pistol and shot this officer in the shoulder. You can see here where the bullet pierced his uniform. Another officer returned fire, killing Amri, who's reportedly shown in this newly released video, pledging allegiance to the leader of ISIS. Officials explain they've now matched Amri's fingerprints to those left inside the cab of this hijacked truck used in the attack. The Italian Interior Minister saying,
Senza ombra di dubbio.
The man killed is, without a shadow of a doubt, the terrorist law enforcement across Europe has been desperately trying to track down.
Every policeman in Berlin, in Germany, is trying to find this man.
Investigators are now working to figure out when and how the 24-year-old Tunisian left Germany. Officials trying to retrace Amri's steps believe he may have traveled through France, arriving in Milan by train just hours before he was killed. And they desperately want to know why he went there and how the most wanted man in Europe was able to travel through at least 3 countries unnoticed. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, New York.
Now to Malta, where more than 100 airline passengers are safe following a tense hijacking. 2 Libyan men were able to get a hand grenade and pistols on board the domestic flight. They threatened to blow up the plane and force the pilot to land in Malta. After tense negotiations, they surrendered peacefully, releasing the 111 passengers on board. Malta's prime minister says the men were taken into custody for interrogation. Here in Florida, a Canadian man is now in custody in Orlando after forcing his way onto the tarmac and hijacking a luggage cart. Officials at Orlando International Airport say the man was acting erratically, so gate agents would not let him board his plane. That's when he forced his way onto the jetway and began driving a baggage tug across the active runways. He was captured and arrested. Florida legislators are filing a bill making texting while driving a primary traffic offense for those 18 or younger. Under the current law, texting is a secondary offense, meaning you can only be cited if you're pulled over for something else. Texting while driving has been illegal since 2013, yet only around 4,000 tickets have been written. Legislators say the change of law is about public safety.
We need to make sure that people understand that they have to stop texting and driving. And now it's a primary enforcement. I think people will start taking it serious.
Another bill has been filed to make texting while driving a primary offense for all ages. Similar proposals have been rejected by the legislature in the past. 3 Tampa Bay hotels are being investigated for price gouging during Hurricane Andrew. Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi is taking civil action against the hotels in Hillsborough, Pinellas, and Polk counties. Bondi says the hotels charged evacuees up to $200 more than the usual rate. The Attorney General's office is seeking to offer restitution to customers who paid excessive prices. Pam Bondi will be under investigation herself. Governor Rick Scott has appointed a special prosecutor to handle a complaint over Bondi's involvement with Trump University. It stems from a $25,000 campaign contribution Bondi received from the president-elect in 2013. She asked for the donation around the same time her office was looking into allegations of fraud at Trump U. The prosecutor assigned to the case has a year to decide whether the complaint has any merit. And finally tonight, our thoughts go out to Star Wars actress Carrie Fisher, who is in critical condition tonight after suffering what appears to be a major heart attack. It happened during a flight from London to Los Angeles. The 60-year-old Fisher was rushed to a hospital after the flight landed. United Airlines describes her as unresponsive after the landing. And may the force be with her. That's all the time we have for this evening. From all of us here at ABC7, thank you for joining us. I'm Alan Cohn, and whether you celebrate Hanukkah or Christmas, have a great holiday.